Okay, today we continue with our class Hilchos Teshuvah. Today's class number 28. Okay, and we start with second. Start with Sefer Chaim. Sefer Chaim. And today's new big topic, Avak Rechilus. Okay, definition. One who does not exercise proper caution in a matter of speech may find himself inadvertently fanning the flames of hatred. Right? We just remind somebody to what somebody said about him 5 years ago. It is forbidden to mention an incident to other pieces of information which might remind the listener of a situation where he was wronged by someone. Okay, so maybe that person is talking about a different situation, but say that's exactly what happened to him. You remember 5 years ago? Psh, that's it. To relate such information is to speak avak, literally the dust of Rechilus. The speaker transgresses even though he has no intent of causing the listener to recall the wrongdoings. Okay, so it's not like he just saying. I'm just saying. The sages hold the speaker responsible for not having exercised proper caution in mentioning that which might reawaken ill feelings. So basically, the best thing is to keep quiet, right? All right, but at least think before you speak, and if you can hear the person reminding him or her what happened when somebody wronged them. So okay, that's not good thing to do. Okay, so we start here. We continue with Hilchos Teshuvah. So let's see, what are we? Chapter 8. Okay, we're in chapter 8. And Halachah is number 2. So let's read without commentaries. Let's see, is it long? No. Okay. So it says, in the world to come, there is no body or physical form. So now, so as we finished with all of the punishments that the person, not a righteous person, is going to get, and even some perjury as most of us are going to get, right? Of course, as we said before, as Rambam told us last time, many people going to Gehinom forever and ever. As Gemara says, what is the size of the Gehinnom? The heaven, right? And they say it's 60 times the earth. Okay, so we know the size of one is the size of Gehinom, undetermined. Why? Because it's always growing. It's always growing. Okay. So because there are more and more wicked people, so it more than they can handle at one time. So they have to expand their hell. Okay. So continue. In the world to come, but now we're talking about the good part, right? In the world to come, that's our goal, to get to the good place. There is no body or physical form, only the soul of the righteous alone, without the body. Like the ministering angels, since there is no physical form, there is neither eating, drinking, nor any other bodily function of this world, like sitting, standing, sleeping, death, sadness, laughter, and the like. Thus the sages of the previous ages declared, in the world to come, there is neither eating, drinking, nor sexual relations. Rather, the righteous will sit with their crowns on their heads and delight in the radiance of divine presence. Okay. So that's one of few things that we know about Gehinom. Okay. From that statement, it is clear that there is no body, for there is no eating and drinking. Consequently, the statement of righteous seed must be interpreted metaphorically. There is the righteous exist there without work or labor, meaning they don't do labor. Okay, work or labor. Similarly, the phrase "their crowns on their heads" is also a metaphor, implying that they will possess the knowledge that they grasp, which allowed them to merit the life in the world to come. This will be their crown. Similar usage of this metaphor was employed by Shlomo, the Song of Songs 3:11, where it says, "The crown with which his mother crowned him." Support for this concept, that this does not refer to the physical crown, can be brought from the prophecy, Isaiah 51:11. Eternal joy will be upon their heads. Joy is not a physical entity which can rest on the head. Similarly, the expression crown used by the sages refer to the spiritual concept knowledge. What is meant by the expression delight in radiance of the divine presence? That they will comprehend the truth of godliness, which they cannot grasp, while the dark and humble body. Well, in a dark and humble body. Okay. So, all right. So we stop here, going to the beginning, and we're going to explain. Okay. Okay, from the beginning. In the world to come, there is no body or physical form, only the soul of the righteous alone. Okay, so wicked people are not going to the world to come. Right? As we said before, if it says that somebody is losing the part in the world to come, the share in the world to come, what does it mean? He goes to Gehinom, as Rambam explained, forever and ever. It's not like his soul disappeared. No, he goes there forever. Okay. So 14 commentary. This statement created a great controversy among the commentaries. The Rabbi writes, the statement of this individual resembled those who say that there is a resurrection. One second. There is a resurrection will not be for the bodies, only for the soul. Okay. I swear that our sages of blessed memory do not share that opinion. So one more time, I'm not sure Rawat is attacking Rambam always, or almost always. The statement of this individual resembles those who say that the resurrection will not be for the bodies, only for the souls. I swear that our sages of blessed memory do not share this opinion. Okay, I think they're talking about different things. Rambam is talking about Gan Eden, right? As we said, so it's a place when person, if he's righteous, goes after he dies. That's Gan Eden part. But sometimes people call it Olam Haba also, the world to come. I'm not sure why, but I mean that's Gan Eden is a proper word, but Olam Haba also they use. But Olam Haba also it's called Mashiach time, right? Messianic age, when it's going to be a resurrection of the dead. So when it's going to be a resurrection of the dead, so people are going to get resurrected with the body. That's it says clearly. So the dead are going to come alive, right? So I'm not sure why Ravat said there is contradiction. There are two separate things. Okay, but he's attacking, of course. Okay. So let's see. The case of Mishnah explained the difference between Rambam and Ravat is semantic. Okay. Ikarim, Discourse 4, chapter 31 explains that in a Talmud and a Midrashim, the sages use expression "the world to come" to refer to different rewards. Okay. A spiritual reward of the soul, which is righteous merit after death. That's what we said. But it's I think in order not to get confused, so it's proper to say Gan Eden. Okay, so I mean everybody knows that it's Gan Eden because nobody. I don't think that anybody would call Messianic age Gan Eden. I don't think so. Maybe, but I never heard. Okay. and B, the age of resurrection of the dead, when the entire nation will arise from their graves, both by body and soul. Okay, so that's as we said, it's different story, right? So one is world to come, and one is messianic age, right? I'm sorry, I don't want to see. I confuse myself. So one is Gan Eden and one is messianic age. That's the proper way. Okay. So both Rambam and Ravad believe in both this concept. It's not like one deny. I mean, it's if somebody denies one thing, he's a heretic, as we learned in the beginning of this teachings, right? Indeed, the Rambam includes the belief of resurrection of the dead, one of the 13 principles of the faith, principle 13, right? And in chapter 3, Halachah 6, lists those who denied a resurrection among those who will not merit the portion of world to come. Exactly, right? So that's what we learned before, as you just said. Okay, I thought it's in the beginning, but it was in chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3, Halachah 6. So basically, first of all, it's general. It's one of the fundamental beliefs, one of the 13 principles. So without this, a person is not losing his status as a kosher Jew, right? At this point, he does not have a portion of world to come if he denies the resurrection of the dead, right? So, okay, or even if he denies the Gan Eden, that righteous people are going to get rewarded in the future. So it's also part of the 13 principles. However, he defines the Torah, the world to come, as referring to the world of the souls alone. So who is this Rambam? So Rambam. So Rambam, when he calls Olam Haba, the world to come, he means Gan Eden. Okay. In the contrast, the interpretation towards the expression "the world to come" is referring to the era of the resurrection. So Rambam calls that era as era of Mashiach. So there's no conflicts. What is only in a way these two rabbis called the thing. But I'm not sure why Ravad would get confused if he gets the description. So when we read the Rambam's description, it says clearly that he means Gan Eden, not messianic times. I'm not sure why he was confused. I'm not sure. Indeed, the above mentioned misunderstanding led to such a controversy that Rambam found it necessary to compose a special treatise, Igeret Techai Hamesim, to emphasize this belief in the resurrection of the dead. So, of course, if he says it's fundamental belief, why would he deny it, right? The resurrection of the dead. In that text, he explained that in the Mishnah Torah, he elaborates more on the concept of the world to come than on the resurrection, because, again, world to come, meaning here, it means Gan Eden, when person goes after he passes from this world, right? So why? Because of reasons. I only saw people discussing the resurrection while forgetting entirely about the world to come. So it's actually today's also it's most of the people the speakers, I guess, speakers, they would discuss the world to come, meaning resurrection of the dead, messianic time, but not Gan Eden, right? Not Gan Eden that person goes, but when there is going to be resurrection, maybe tomorrow, maybe some years from now, we don't know, but in Gan Eden, the person goes right now. If he dies right now, he goes after the judgment, after some time, but some enter immediately. Righteous people, Rav Kanievsky, that's all. Furthermore, Though, as explained there, the resurrection is one of the cornerstones of the Moshe's Torah. It is not the ultimate purpose. Rather, the ultimate purpose, the world to come. Right? So that's what actually this line is a root of Rabbi Reuven Shlita's speech about Mashiach, a danger of Mashiach now thing, as Haba does, right? Why? Because they make this resurrection of Mashiach now thing, right, as the goal, right? So let me read one more time the Rambam's words. Furthermore, though, as explained there, the resurrection is one of the cornerstones of Moshe Torah. So nobody is denying resurrection, right? It is not the ultimate purpose. So they make it its ultimate purpose. Mashiach is going to come. Everybody is going to be cured. No problem, no issues, no wars, no financial issues, nothing, right? So no, I'll bring in children issues, right? That's what they're talking about, which is wrong. It's one of the things of Judaism, but it's not the main point, right? Rather, the ultimate purpose is the world to come, right? When a person gets the reward. That's very interesting. That's from here. Though those two opinions agree on the fundamental principle of faith, there are still basic differences between them, as will be explained in the commentary to chapter 9. So it's next chapter, Halachah 2. A crux of the issue is the question: what is the ultimate good which Jewish people will merit? Okay, is the spiritual world of the souls, as Rambam maintains, or will that be good become manifested within the context of material reality in the resurrection of the dead, as conceived by Rabbi? Okay, so that's the question. Okay, but I'm not sure when they say question. I'm not sure why it should be contradiction. So until the Mashiach comes, all of these righteous people that they can enjoy the time in Gan Eden. I'm not sure why it should be contradiction. Okay. Okay, so let's read the whole sentence from the beginning. In the world to come, there is no body or physical form. Okay, only the soul. So world to come, one more time, we're talking about Gan Eden. Only the soul of the righteous alone, without the body, like the ministering angels. Commentary. In Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah, it's very beginning of this volume. Chapter 2, Halachah 3 through 4. The Rambam writes that the angels are the spiritual entities without body. So in there they discuss angels and all of the creation. It's very interesting, but very philosophical, very, very like high level. So that's one of the reasons it's very important, but it's not as practical as this. The sages of Kabbalah, based on their statement on Psalms 104:4, explain that the souls are on an even higher level than the angels. Right? So the souls of the righteous are even on a higher level than those of the angels. It's not like angel has a soul, I think. Right? So angel is a soul in some sense. It's a spiritual entity. Right? So souls of the righteous even higher than the angels. The angel have a spiritual body, while the soul have no body whatsoever. So I'm not sure. Of course, it's hard to comprehend what is spiritual body. Okay, but the soul, no body whatsoever. Okay. Continue. Since there is no physical form, there is neither eating, drinking, nor any of the other bodily functions of this world. Commentary. Let's finish. Like sitting, standing, sleeping, death, sadness, laughter, and the like. Okay, no bodily functions. But in Messianic time, it's going to be bodily functions, right? So all of these souls are going to be when whichever are going to be destined to be resurrected, are going to have all of the physical functions, of course. Commentary. Shar Gagmul, Rambam questions why Rambam felt the need to elaborate on this matter. Even the smallest students in Israel knows that the soul of the righteous man who dies rests in the spiritual good of the higher world, with no contact with the body or the matter at all. Though the nature of the mystery is known only to select few, and only God can grasp the true comprehension of the matter, the general awareness of this concept is still for all. Rambam put it beautifully. So he said, I mean, of course, what is the Rambam is adding here? First of all, we learn Halachah, right? So Rambam in Shar Hagmul saying, okay, well, what is the Rambam is adding? Everybody knows that the body stays here in this world, and the soul is going up to heaven, right? So what exactly he's adding, right? And plus he said this concept are known only a few Kabbalists, I guess, right? But what is the purpose of Rambam? What Rambam says? So it says for general awareness. So many things, of course, it's above our level, but at least we must be aware of them, that they exist. So whenever we have time, we are on a certain level, so we can go up and go. At least we know the subject that we want to study. Okay. I don't recommend to study the subject, but general approach. Okay. So like sitting, standing, sleeping, death, sadness, laughter, and the like. So it's not recommended to study the subject because for most of the people, it's purely waste of time. They're not on a level, they would not comprehend. And even they think comprehend, they would not, right? Grasp the true meaning. And plus, there is so much thing to learn. Start with a partial week. Start, right? So continue. So all of the Kabbalists are like people who learn Kabbalah that I know. Of course, I don't know this the real Kabbalists. They're not on the street. They're not in open. They're not on the internet, right? But all of this, you ask a few questions about partial of the week, they have no idea what partial of the week we're reading. Yeah, but I said today's Wednesday. You don't know. Okay, tell me one thing that you learned from last week or from last year. Absolutely zero. Guess what? But people learn Kabbalah. Very interesting. Thus, those certain statements of our sages will employ such terms. They will all must be considered metaphors. Used only because the Torah speaks of human terms. See Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah 1, chapter 1, Halachahs 11 and 12. Okay. So meaning for us to understand. So what is it? No human forms, right? So it's nor sitting, nor standing, nor sleeping. Okay. So of course, but when we understand like no standing. So if I can stand, I need feet, right? So so it's not the case. He already told us it's only soul, and he gives us explanation. Continue. Thus the sages of the previous ages declared. Commentary. Bracha 17a relates that Rav would frequently repeat this statement. Okay. So Rav said, in the world to come, there is neither eating, drinking, or sexual relations. Rather, the righteous will sit with their crown on their heads and delight in the radiance of the divine presence. Of course, if you go to Gemara, they explain it, and other commentators explain what does it mean, the righteous with the crown, what is the crown, and how they can point at the radiance, what is the radiance, what is divine presence, but it's not our topic today, right? So, but it's very interesting today. From that statement, it is clear that there is no body, for there is no eating and drinking. Okay, logically. Commentary. It is absurd to think that God would create a body equipped to perform the physical function, for example, digestion and reproduction, in an era where this function will be nullified, right? Like so our bodies, Hashem created our bodies for purpose, for different purposes. All of the organs are needed for different purposes. So, but if there is no need, for example, for eating, so why would Hashem create a person with a stomach? Okay, maybe he can make him not go not hungry for all of these years, for many years. How long he's going to be Gan Eden? But what's the purpose to create him with the mouth if he does not need the mouth, right? So that's very interesting idea. One of the fundamental principles of faith that God does not create anything without a purpose. So if you see all of the insects, all of the materials in the world, anything, right? All of the bacteria, it's everything has its purpose. So Hashem would not create. So I mean, he's going from the logic perspective, right? It's actually also from Rambam, but from different book, right? So logic perspective. So Hashem would not create something in vain. Thus, if there will be no bodily function, there is no purpose for the physical body. You get it. Tehayei Hamesim, chapter 4. Okay. So let me read the first sentence again. From that statement, it is clear that there is no body, for there is no eating or drinking. Okay, we said that. Consequently, the statement, the righteous seat in double quotes, must be interpreted metaphorically. There is righteous exist there without work or labor. So, I mean, beautiful explanation. So usually when people say, for example, somebody lost his job, right, and another person would ask him what he's doing, he's sitting home, right? Sitting home. What? I mean, he's not actually sitting at home, but meaning that he's not working. Even in the commentary, even in the spiritual realms, the righteous will the righteous will proceed from strength to strength. As Psalms 84:8 states, and Moed Katan 29:8 relates, the righteous have no rest in this world and the world to come. So they always can go high and high. So in our morning class, Miktav Miliyahu, we learn sometimes that whatever person learns in this world, right, it's going to and when, for example, he did not understand. Okay, he tried, but I have a rule 7 times. So I read 7 times. If I don't understand, so I leave it aside. Of course, I ask the question, but if sometimes the question is difficult, so it's total disrespect, like waste somebody's time, because many times it's not so important, right? Right. So I'm saying that 1 second. But if you learn wherever you learn and you did not understand, right? So in the next world, you would be given opportunity to learn that topics, that subjects in depth. And for this learning, a person is going to get reward, right? But you have to come with with your luggage from here that you try to learn, okay, wherever you learn. So you're going to get all of the answer to your questions. Business HaShem. Okay, so that's why Rabbi Desler Zatzal said that that's why it said the righteous people have no rest in this world and the world to come. So in this world we understand, but why in the world to come? Okay, that's the explanation. At least one of the explanations. Nevertheless, that spiritual progress will not be accompanied by any physical effort or struggle. Okay. So here to accomplish anything, you like even spiritual. Okay, you want to learn Torah. You have to sit. You have to stand. You have to do something, right? And you have to invest your physical strength, even in sitting. Okay, sitting straight and keeping your eyes open and it's hot, it's cold, it's this, it's humid, it's not humid, this and that. So I mean, you invest your physical strength for sure. Okay. So continue. It was number 20. 1 second. Continue. Similarly, the phrase "their crown on their heads," so also a double quote, right, is also a metaphor implying that they will possess a knowledge that they grasp. Commentary. So crown is a knowledge that they grasp, right? It's case of Torah, right? The crown of the Torah. Sahim 58 declares, "Happy is the one who comes here in the world to come with his studies with him." So that's all other things where our achievements going where? Going to garbage, right? But study of the Torah and the good deeds, that's our tzedakah, that's valuable there. The commentaries explain that in the world to come, the soul will renew the same Torah knowledge, exactly, right? With which it was involved in the material world. So whatever that person did not cover in this world, at least superficially, right, he is not going to get the privilege to learn in the world to come. However, in the material world, it would appreciate the concept in the physical terms. While in the world to come, it will appreciate this spiritual truth that motivates those concepts. Okay, very interesting idea. So you see, as I said, what Rabbi Dessler said, it's one of the aspects, right? But here is a different one, a little different. Right. So when we hear, we understand things only on our physical level, right? Because that's physicality. That's all we know. Right, so spiritual things, of course, our rabbis try to explain on a parable. It was a king, he has a son, he has a daughter, stuff like that. Okay, so we try to understand. But in the world to come, Gan Eden, I want to be specific, in Gan Eden, when there is no physicality, no physical barriers, only spirituality, only spiritual exists. So a person can understand the same concept on a much higher level. On the spiritual level. Spiritual is higher. See also Rambam's introduction to the 10th chapter of Sanhedrin and the notes to the following Halachah. Okay. So let's see. So let me read the whole sentence. Similarly, the phrase their crowns or their heads is also a metaphor, implying that they will possess the knowledge that they grasp, which allowed them to merit the life in the world to come. Commentary. Chapter 9, Halachah 1, so it's next chapter, relates the portion on the world to come. A person merits determined by greatness of the person's deeds and abundance of his knowledge. Greatness of the person's deed and abundance of the knowledge. I'm not sure why they not included tzedakah, but okay. At least, okay, so 2 out of 3, right? Greatness of person deeds. Deeds meaning chesed. I guess tzedakah could be in this category, right? It should not be a separate category. So whether you did kindness to another Jew by money, right? So a person is out of job, God forbid they lost a father, right? 9 children, so you're trying to help them a little, right? So you buy them grocery, whatever you do, doesn't matter, right? Or you give them money, so it doesn't matter. It's greatness, this, and abundance, and abundance of his kind knowledge. Okay. Continue. In a similar usage of this metaphor is employed by Shlomo in Song of Song 3:11. The crown with which the mother crowned him. Okay, what does it mean? Shirashim Rabba, so it's medrash on Shirashim, Song of Song 3:11, quotes Rabbi Hanania bar Yitzchak. Hanina, I'm sorry, no, that's not. Rabbi Hanina bar Yitzchak. We have reviewed the entire Torah and have not found a record of Bathsheba making a crown for her son. So that's very strong statement. This rabbi say, I mean, they knew the whole Torah, but just in case they forgot something, they review the entire Torah and said we don't know. But Bathsheba is the mother of Shlomo HaMelech. Thus, he concludes that the phrase is a metaphor. However, he interprets the metaphor differently than Rambam. Okay, no problem. So one more time, the crown with which his mother crowned him. Support for this concept that this does not refer to the physical crown that he brought. No. Support from this concept does not refer to physical crown can be brought from the prophecy, Yeshayahu 51:11, where it says, "Eternal joy will be upon their heads." Eternal joy will be upon their heads. So joy is like in sense of crown, right? Joy is not a physical entity. Very interesting. So how could not physical entity be over their heads, right? Which can rest on the head. Joy is not physical entity which can rest on his head. Similarly, the expression crown used by the sages refer to the spiritual concept knowledge. Okay, so one more time. Similarly, the expression crown in double quotes, used by the sages refer to the spiritual concept knowledge. That's the crown. Commentary. Knowledge is the most exalted of our potentials, and thus can be viewed as a crown of our personality. So knowledge is a crown of our personality. Very interesting. Of course, knowledge of the Torah, not the knowledge of the baseball or other garbage or politics. Okay, continue. That is meant by the expression, what is meant by expression, delight in the radiance of divine presence, that they will comprehend the truth of godliness, which they could not grasp while in a dark and humble body. Okay. So commentary. The physical nature of the body puts limits of our intelligence and prevents us from appreciating the true nature of godliness. See Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah 110. I mean, those are all deep concepts, but but we must understand that we have limitations. So once person said, "No, I have to understand that," we know that he or she already a fool, 100%. Because many things, it's not that they're not true. It's not like we're stupid. No, we're not stupid. But our intellect is limited. So, and one example that we gave, that we discussed many times, what is chapter? I think it's previous in chapter 7, that HaShem is does not exist in spiritual, does not exist in a time and space, right? So how can you understand time and space when everything in this world is measured? Has a like definition size. Space means size, right? And time and everything is according to in a timely fashion. This is first event, second event, third event. So how can we understand it? But HaShem can't, because he's above time and above space. So how can we understand? We cannot, basically, but we have to accept it. Okay. So let me see. So we finish that. 1 second. Let me see. Time. Okay, we have time, so we try to do one more. So Halachah number 3, and it says the term soul, double quotes, when used in this context, does not refer to the soul which needs the body, but rather the form of the soul, the knowledge which comprehends according to its power. Similarly, it comprehends the abstract concept and other matters. This is the form in double quotes, whose nature we described in the 4th chapter, Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah. I mean, they refer to that chapter, to that section. This is also this is the soul referring to in this concept. So we're going to explain. since this life is not accompanied by death, this life meaning in the world to come, in a Gehinom, right? So it's life without death. For death is an event associated with the body alone, within this world, and in that realm there is no body. It is called the bond of life. Very interesting. As the Shmuel Aleph 25:29 states, and the soul of the master will be bound up in a bond of life. So that's Abigail was speaking. Okay, we're going to get. I think it's her, right? When she was talking to David Hamelach. Okay. This is the reward above. This is the reward above which there is no high reward, and the good beyond which there can be, which there can other good. 1 second. Sorry. One more time. This is the reward above which there is no higher reward, and good beyond which there can be other good. Okay. No other. This was the good desired by all prophets. So basically, that's the idea of the purpose of our life in this world, right? So HaShem wants us to enjoy, to give us this place in the Gan Eden, right? We just have to work for it. That's in a few sentences the whole purpose of life, right? So they say this amazing reward. Okay, so let's do from the beginning with commentaries. The term soul. So soul, just so we know, I'm sure that we know, but just to remind us, so it consists of 5 parts, right? And some parts cannot exist without the body. For example, the part of the soul that is in the blood, right? So that's it's kind of connected to the physical body. So continue. The term soul, when used in this context, does not refer to the soul which body needs, which needs the body. Okay, so let's see, 26. The Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah 4:9, the Rambam refers to the aspect of the soul which is connected with the out body function, with the term neshama, while here he uses the term nefesh. Similarly, in the Guide of Perplex, Volume 1, Chapter 49, the Rambam differentiates between the 2 aspects of the soul, nefesh and neshama. Okay, so let's see. Okay, but when people speak, right? When they speak to each other, so they use the word neshama, not nefesh. Okay, so we'll see what the difference is. So one more time, the whole sentence from the beginning. The term soul, when used in the context, in this context, does not refer to the soul which needs the body. So as we said, there are different parts of the soul, but rather to the form of the soul, the knowledge which it comprehends according to its power. Okay, the form of the soul. What does it mean? This is the image and the form of God which he granted man, right? It says in Bereshit 1:26, there is man's power to conceive concept intellectually. So what does it mean? So this soul is man's power to conceive the concept intellectually, like when you have thoughts in your mind, right? Okay, let's say a person had thoughts in his mind and he was very smart, right? And after he dies, can they open his brain and find these thoughts or his knowledge anywhere? No, right? It's just a piece of meat. So where is this knowledge stored? Where is all of these images that he saw during his 85 years of life stored, right? In his soul, right? And in that part of the soul can conceive a concept intellectually. So what is conceive concept intellectually? So, for example, when you explain somebody something that that person never seen in his life, right? But through your explanation, he can envision what you're saying. So, okay, so we still did not finish with the sentence from the beginning. The term soul, when it's used in this concept, does not refer to the soul which needs the body, but rather the form of the soul, the knowledge which it comprehends according to its power. In the Guide of the Perplex, Volume 1, Chapter 68, the Rambam explains how before a person conceives an idea, the idea that he wishes to conceive, and the thought process are three different things. Actually, we learned it by Rabbi Dessler, that song. He explained it beautifully. I'm going to explain. However, after he conceived the idea, he and idea are one. In his introduction, okay, so let's stop here. So Rambam explains, and so I'm going to combine two explanations: the way Rambam explained, the way I remember that Rabbi Dessler, that's all explained, right? So there are three entities, right? Person, thought, and idea, right? And some concept. Let's some concept. So these three things are separate. So a person could exist, but he didn't have thought, and there is no such a thing. There is no idea, right? Or possible. So all three absolutely separate. Or it could be a person, right? And this idea does not exist at all. It's a totally new concept, like telephone. I don't know, 300 years ago, right? Was unimaginable, right? So, but there was such a concept. Concept was always in the world, right? But it was not known to a person. A person did not think about it. Or a person can have, person can exist. Let's say an idea can exist. I don't know. Like let's say person never heard of telephone. Let's say, or some technology. So this technology exists, but just because he does not know, I mean, it still exists independent of his knowledge, right? So person and this technology, two separate things. But he might have a thought, right? Why don't I invent such a technology? Let's say, right? So he has this thought. It's part of him, let's say, but there is no idea, like no idea in the world, right? So, but it could be that the person exists, his thought it exists, and that idea also exists, right? He visualized it as that idea. Then three all in one, meaning in that person, right? So, but with HaShem, it's all in one. It's always there is no such a thing that there is a knowledge without him, right? Because he himself is a knowledge, right? And he himself is a concept. He himself is part of the person. So it's very interesting. Okay, so continue. However, after the in his introduction to the 10th chapter of Sanhedrin, Rambam relates this concept to the crown of the righteous. So it's double quote this expression mentioned in a previous Halachah. The knowledge which they gain, right? So knowledge, the soul will exist. So I mean, idea. I guess he's talking a little different. I call it thought, but it is knowledge. Okay, they call it knowledge. Maybe knowledge is a better word for that. Knowledge meaning that I'm not aware of that idea, right? Of that news. Let's put it maybe different example. The news already happened, whatever happened, but I do not know, and I am okay. And there's a person, but this knowledge can exist independent of the person, and that event, like rain, let's say, in another state, can be independent of the person. But if he knows, the person knows, so he has a knowledge about the rain. So maybe it's easy to comprehend like this. So one more time. One second. So one more time this sentence. In his introduction to the 10th chapter of Sanhedrin, Rambam relates this concept to the crown of the righteous, mentioned in the previous Halachah, the knowledge which they gain. Okay. The soul will exist in complete unity with the knowledge of God that they grasp in their lifetime. So that's when all three come into one. Continue. Similarly, it comprehends the abstract. So when we're talking about soul, similarly, it comprehends the abstract concept of other matters. 29. Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah 4:9 explain that the soul has the potential to conceive concepts whose existence transcend the four elements on which the material reality is based. The soul has a potential to conceive the concept whose existence transcend the four elements on which the material reality is based. So four elements is water and fire and wind and the earth, right? So that's how we understand things. Okay. So but soul, since it is spiritual, it can comprehend all these things. 29. Continue. This is the form whose nature we describe in the 4th chapter of Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah. This is the soul referred to in this context. And not the elements of the soul which endows our body with a physical life. So that's a spiritual part of the soul, not the one that is in the blood, and not the one that stays with a person, right? So meaning when a person comes to the grave, even though it's not recommended, I'm telling you right away, it's not recommended to go to the spirituality, especially for women, right? You can watch Igeres Hagra. If you're interested, we can find out the number lectures. So we're not going to explain why it's not especially for women, but also for men, not recommended to go to the graves of tzaddikim. But if he went, for example, it was like separate entrance, it was walls from one side, let's say there's such a thing, right? So why are you going there if the soul is not there? I mean, there is a body, it's already dust for a long time ago. So because part of the soul is actually stay with by the grave, that's why we go there. We don't go. Try not to go. So continue. Since this life is not accompanied by death, for the death is event associated with the body, right? As we understand, alone is the body alone, and in that realm there is no body. So meaning in Olam, okay. I mean in Gan Eden, we call it we call life, right? So every time, as our sages explained, every time the Torah, the written Torah says life, it means life in the world to come. So and when it says, and it's going to be good for you, and you're going to live long, so it means in the world to come. Commentary. Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah 4:3 relates that existence of all creation is dependent on the combination of four elements. Here we go: fire, wind, water, and dust. I call it earth, but I mean they call it earth, but here they translate it dust. Doesn't matter. Hence, ultimately, all these entities will have a limited span of the existence until eventually this combination will cease. That's it, right? So whatever the combination, more of this, so maybe the water is only water. Maybe fire is, I don't know, like wind also present in the fire, right? So some of them are combinations of all of 4 of them, I think, or 3 of them at least. And some of them are only 1. Okay. Halachah 9 of that chapter explains that the form of the soul is not dependent on these elements, but comes from God, from heaven. Therefore, it has no potential to grasp abstract concept as above, and hence will merit eternal life. Right? It has the potential to grasp this abstract concept. Why? Because it's not material. So in material, you have, as we say, time, and you have space. That's the limitation. And these limitations actually prevent us from grasping spiritual abstract concepts. But soul can, of course. So one more time, the whole sentence. Since this life is not accompanied by death, for death is an event associated with body alone, and in that realm there is no body. It is called the bond of life, in double quotes, as Shmuel 25:29 states, and the soul of my master will be bound up in a bond of life. 33. The Targum Yonasan on that verse, in his introduction to the 10th chapter of Sanhedrin, Rambam emphasizes how the soul's existence is dependent on the knowledge of God. The soul, the source of life, right? Source of life. The existence of the soul is forever, like the existence of the Creator, for he is the reason for the existence, for that, for it has grasped him. So even though we learned that some souls are destroyed forever, so yeah, you can destroy the spiritual, same as you can create the spiritual, you can destroy the physical, but most of them are not destroyed forever. They live, but they, whatever in Gehinom, they go to the 7th level. The world is going to end when Mashiach comes. Right? The Gehinom is going to end, but that section never going to end. Gemara says. So scary stuff. Okay, so continue. Almost done. This is the reward above which there is no high reward, and the good beyond which there is no other good. This is the good desired by all the prophets. So that's as we said, that's all. I don't want to say goal, but we should aspire to get to that place. Okay, we have a few minutes, maybe. I don't know. So let's just read number 4 and we stop. How many metaphoric terms have been used to refer to the world to come? The mountain of God, the holy place, the holy path, the courtyard of God, the pleasantness of God, the tent of God, the place of God, the house of God, the gate of God. The sages refer to this good, which is prepared for the righteous, with a metaphor. Metaphor, the feast. Generally, it is referred to with the term of the world to come. Okay, but so not to get confused, we call it a Gehinom. Okay. Any questions? Any topic? Okay, we stop here then until tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to learn Halachah. Good night.